Welcome, everyone. My name's Athena Paquette-Cormier, and I am the founder and um, creative behind Women in Investing Network, which is WIN. And we are having a special wine tasting Saturday, August 16th. And it's going to be at Total Wines right there on Hawthorne Boulevard, I think 1550 Hawthorne Boulevard. And it's a special tasting because it's going to be a tasting of 8 wines paired with food, and it's for only 20 people. And if it's successful, we will do this again. But this is our summer event for the WIN group, and we will do some networking. You'll meet other women who are interested in investing, and all this is going to be in support of the YWCA in, I think it's called Harbor San Pedro Harbor. And so I thought it would be super cool for you to hear straight from the mouth of the director of YWCA. Her name's Sonia Bailey. She's joining me today to just tell us, where is our money going to go? All the ticket sales are going straight to YWCA. So let's hear from Sonia about what do they do and where is our money going to be spent. Welcome, Sonia.
Thank you, Athena. And thank you so much for the honor to be your charity for that wine tasting. It sounds really
Well, we're
exciting.
super excited to support you guys, but not everybody's heard of YWCA. So why don't you share a little bit about what you guys do?
Well, YWCA in USA has actually been around since 1853.
Oh my gosh.
And we are the oldest, longest women's organization in the country, and it's actually around the world. But in San Pedro, our YWCA was established in 1918, right after First World War, when women were coming to the port of Los Angeles to work in the canneries. And so they needed somewhere safe to live and stay. And our building is actually designed by Julia Morgan, the first woman architect in California. And she
Wow.
designed 32 YWCAs across California. And to our understanding, we are the last ones that actually have programs running out of their Julia Morgan YWCA building. So we're very proud of that. And it's also a lot of pressure to make sure that we keep going to serve our community as we have done over the 100 and something years that we have, even though our role has really morphed from back in 1918 to what it is today based on demographics. And so, as a background, YWCA was used to be the Young Women's Christian Association, and we often get confused with YMCA. But I would probably say the biggest difference is our advocacy, is that the biggest issue and difference between YMCA and YWCA in terms of what we have done is that when we look at our grandmothers, our mothers, and our female relatives before, they couldn't get a bank account on their own, they couldn't buy property on their own, they couldn't get a credit card on their own.
Not so
And
long ago, really.
not so long ago.
Yeah.
And so we are part of the laws that make those changes so that our generation today, who take these things for granted, as they should, we were part of the advocacy that makes that change. YWCA has always advocated for empowering women, making women independent. They're already head of households. They're already in the background or in the front ground, how their children are raised. But in terms of laws and how we live today, that is very much part of YWCA's doing in terms of we have a YUSA in Washington that lobbies today for those law changes and that also protects our sons and daughters and how they live their lives going forward as well.
Mm.
So I'm very proud of that part of what we are as a background of why YWCAs are what they are. And a little bit of a difference also is that each YWCA is its own corporation, its
Oh.
own entity. It has its own volunteer board. It has its own way of direction. But we're all part of the network that believes in the same mission.
Mm.
So there are 4 YWCAs in Los Angeles County, and we are the smallest one, and we're the historical one. And
Interesting.
yes, and
What other areas are there YWCAs, just to give people an idea?
Joseph, the largest one is Greater Los Angeles, which is Los Angeles covers more of the west. We are YWCA Harbor Area and South Bay. So we probably could go up to the beach area and down to Long Beach is our real area. We do cover the port and harbor area like Wilmington, Harbor City, Lomita, parts of Torrance, and parts of Rancho Palos Verdes and the Hill, and parts of Long Beach, which is very amazing because we are only a staff of 6 in our building, including part-time, and 8 teachers at our preschool. But the other one is in San Gabriel Valley. They deal with some domestic violence and also senior programs. And then another one in Pasadena. They are a full domestic violence shelter.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then who's the fourth one? And then there's one in Orange County that does some student work programs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's the 4 of us. So yes, YWCA definitely has not as much of an impact on the West Coast as it does on the East Coast as terms of
brand. They're a lot stronger on the East Coast, huh?
A lot stronger. That's where it started. All of it started, and they have much bigger organizations there. But we're happy to have been influential in our area and still continue to do that. And we move our programs as the demographics moved. So currently, we have our programs as Healthy Futures, we call it. And that involves food distribution that started over COVID, where we were paying for a food delivery so we could give to people over COVID while there was lockdown. And that has developed into now we do 3 distributions a week in San Pedro and Wilmington, and we are on target to feed 14,000 families this year from that one small program. What we don't give away, and for that program, actually, we have 2 different kinds. We do food rescue with supermarkets, and we also have an FDA emergency food program where people get exactly the same food. And it's really fantastic how they're bringing that food through us to the people that need it. What we aren't able to give away, which is usually at the food rescue situation, we actually compost. And not many companies do that, but we sort of still do it the grandma's way. And we've been composting since.
Right there at your property, you mean?
Or? Oh, yes.
Okay.
We rescued the worms and everything.
Wow. Yep. And are you teaching the children? Because I'm sure you'll get to your child program, but are you using that as a teaching moment for people who come to the Y?
Actually, yes. It's a specialized area, composting, believe it or not. But we started because in 2019 it was just dirt and concrete. So
I do remember visiting and thinking, wow, this is like an abandoned building. Yeah, it's like dirt and concrete. I mean, it was nice to sit out there, but it was not very attractive.
Well, exactly. And that's also part of our story, Athena. Since 2019, I'm very honestly and transparently saying this is the phoenix out of the ashes situation. And you sort of saw it back then, and you're seeing it now. And it is sort of an involvement on commitment on our part to make sure that it becomes vibrant again and a useful source for the community. So yes, we do composting, and that started with succulents, cuttings from friends and neighbors that we just stuck things in the ground, watered it, and they grew, thank God.
Wow.
So yes, and now we have this beautiful garden in the back, and we're growing our own grapes and our own blackberries, and that's sort of been part of the evolvement as well. And in terms of our childcare, we have childcare from 0 to 5, and we, as Teacher Appreciation Day, instead of sending flowers, we would send succulent pots. So the teacher would show the children, the 2 and 3-year-olds, oh, look what we got, and they start pulling everything out. So that was a clue to start educating them on planting. So now they grow their own little vegetables and a little lemon tree, and so that's part of their education that we believe cannot start young enough.
And
Like,
it is mind blowing as a child to see something come from like a little seed that you stuck in the dirt. You can't see it. You don't know when it's going to happen. You got to care for it. Like that whole process is just so,
yeah,
mind blowing, but important. Like it's like a magic trick to them in the moment, but it's
yeah,
also instilling a big life lesson, right?
yeah. And also, we are teaching them recycling,
Mm.
how to not no plastic in the oceans, and how to put paper and recycle and use things again. And
Separate those things, and yeah.
yeah, then they go home and teach their parents, believe it
Mm.
or not. So, as part of our curriculum, we always try and include those things for those kids that so that they're as best prepared as they can to go to kindergarten. But now I'll also tell you that LAUSD has lowered the age that children can go to LAUSD for school. So
Oh,
it's called
really?
TK. It used
Hmm.
to be 5, now it's 4. And now they're sending 3-year-olds who are not even potty trained and 4-year-olds not potty trained to going to this
Oh my God,
school,
those poor
which
teachers.
yeah, exactly. Plus, it's not really best for the child if they're not ready for that.
Right.
So we're having to
They need
pivot
to
a lot.
socialize a little bit more and learn those how to get along skills, right? So,
Exactly. And
yeah.
so, yeah, it's a really bit of a like a reshuffle on how we now teach that.
Hmm.
Plus, we're getting a lot of nonverbal students. And
Mm.
I know we're diversing a little bit, but we were adopted by a Girl Scouts troop, which we're
Oh,
very proud of. And then for one of their badges, a group of them made a communication board for our childcare. These are 12-year-old girls. They made this board, and as one of our nonverbal children, who's only 3, saw that board and started talking. He pointed at the things, the teacher told him the word, and he repeated the word. And so it's really
wow.
phenomenal that this is one of the amazing stories that we are able to share of just one of the
Wow,
little
that's amazing.
things, little moments. But also, we do workforce development, which over COVID, we said, well, we're only going to do programs that we think are worthwhile to people that could use them. And so we started a 50-hour Google curriculum that gets people work ready in 50 hours. That's from not
Work
understanding,
ready
but
in 50 hours. Okay.
yes,
And
yes.
what items are covered or how do they get ready, I guess?
Okay, as they're learning the actual computer technology of it, they learn how language in an email. They learn how to organize on a Google Doc. They learn to do the spreadsheets. They learn even to do a presentation to that point. But at the same time, they're learning financial budgets. They're learning how to open their bank account or make sure their bank account is what it should be. How to
Mm.
work clocking in, clocking out, the digital part, and transferring that and working that between the computer part and their phone, and just basically everything you need to be able to start a job and keep it. And then they
Mm.
have follow up um, over the time once they're hired. And that's really been helpful for not just people that uh, slip through the cracks of education itself or fell upon hard times and they need to get back to a certain level where they can get employment, or
Hmm.
our area was actually the largest percentage of women that lost their jobs over COVID. So
Mm.
they needed to learn a new skill set to
Mm.
go,
Yeah.
and because those jobs are not there to go back to. So we've learned all those things and really honed this 50-hour. It was originally 120 hours
Mm.
and came to us with the idea of women re-entering society. So
Mm.
we've sort of catered it to anyone, first of all, and anyone needing to re-enter the workforce or go into the workforce or just generally.
Mm.
We've also added just recently something called life skills workshops, which is part of the housing epidemic in the area, we were asked by other nonprofits who have placed 150 people, 100 or 200 people into housing. But those people are now facing eviction because they couldn't keep it together to stay housed.
Like
So,
pay the bill,
yes, so
all the
they,
bills. So
yeah.
something slips,
And, they didn't get to that point overnight. So they take really support to stay in that where they are at or improve. And the idea is for them to do the life skills and then get into the 50-hour program, and then we get them into an intern program, and then so forth, so that they can
Hopefully be
maintain housing.
employable. Yeah.
Because when you look at, the mayor of Los Angeles' housing issues and keeping people housed, well, the issue is they can't keep them housed because of the lack of the bridging of taking care of the wraparound services to support people to stay in housing. So the life skills program is really, and that covers even to the point of conflict de-escalation. Like what happens if you get upset about something, which happens very easily when you're in those situations, even breathing exercises, how to get a schedule, write a list, and we have a thrift store that we offer vouchers. So we would be giving these people vouchers, $25. Let's go see how you would spend it. Let's go see how you can, and then budgeting, recycling already, how to organize your kitchen so it doesn't get so overwhelming when you start accumulating trash.
Yeah.
Just very basic, the things that we, sort of take for granted. But at the day-to-day things, the very simplest thing can be very overwhelming if your mental health isn't right. So in realizing that, we've developed this 30-hour, only at 2 hours at a time, 1 hour at a time, twice a week, reinforcement for the people that need that. And again, that doesn't happen for free. I would love it to happen for free. But that's
so. Can you share with me how many people have gone through that?
It's a pilot,
that
right?
work program.
Oh, yeah, the workforce
work
development.
skill. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the workforce development one. We're probably 70 or 80, maybe.
And how much do you think it costs you per person to go? Like, how many do you take at one time, and what does it cost you if you have an idea?
Yeah. To get it really successful, we try and limit it to 8 to 9 at a session. And over a 13-week period, 4 hours a week. They can do it faster if they need to. And realistically, our cost is $800 per student.
Per student.
Yeah. So
and that's like the, your utilities, the teacher, the actual coach, teacher, trainer that's there.
And the actual office hours that they do tutoring around the 50 hours. And then if we do a one-on-one if they need it. And so there's a lot of support there to make sure that they're successful in the class. And then we also have an intern program where another organization would pay for them for us for 10 to 12 months, but we would give them the work hours. But within that work hours, we give them that 50-hour Google training. And we also enroll them into a certificate program, and they run or be part of, do the learning for that within our section of work that we have for them, so that when they leave us, they go and have the tools to actually get a job in the field that they might be interested in.
And a certificate certainly helps to make it legitimate, or make them feel like they graduated something too, right?
Yeah, and our last 2 interns, they had a certificate so that they could run be in a medical office, and they had the certificate to be in the medical reception area.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so we're trying to think outside the box to say, what do they really need? Because some of them, they have no idea.
Yeah.
We have.
Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah. You don't know.
But it's so funny that some of the stories we could share too is that an amazing story. This woman, 3 children, she was incarcerated for, drugs, whatever. Um, all 3 children were fostered out. She finally gets to get out of incarceration. She gets all 3 children back together, which is incredible in itself.
Wow.
They
Mm-hmm.
were moved to San Pedro in a program. And the oldest girl, she was 17 at the time, would come into the YW every single day. She would walk from where they are 3, 4 streets over every day. She would come at the same time. She says, I need work. I need to work. Can I volunteer? And she was here every day. So we managed to get her into a work program, one of these intern work programs that was, I don't know, 200 hours or something. And she was such a great worker. I made a commitment to her that if she stays in school, she will always have a part-time job here.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in nursing school now. And her mother just graduated from Long Beach State a month ago.
Wow.
So
That's an incredible turnaround.
Isn't it? But
that's amazing.
And as much as resilient as these kids are, and they're wonderful, and it's amazing that mother was able to turn things around so brilliantly. Again, we're proud to be able to give that support and sort of do as much as we can to help them succeed with as little as we have. Yeah. So I mean, I'm really proud of that story. I'm really proud of her. I'm really proud of them. And that's just one of the amazing stories of many that we have.
And how many children do you have in your child care program?
60.
60. Wow.
Yeah.
And how much room do you have? How much more room do you have to grow, do you think?
Oh, well, we have but we lost our 4-year-olds. So we're, well, so we have a whole bunch that we can, fit in. So yeah, but it's an ongoing planning situation for that. And we actually are the childcare for the Port of Los Angeles. We are right next to the Boys and Girls Club on Harbor, right on 5th and Harbor.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and do you have an after school program or just school?
No. We did at some point quite a long time ago. And if you know at Julia Morgan building, our auditorium now used to be a pool, but then there was an earthquake and they had to cover it up. And then they put a pool outside, and that's where our councilman learned to swim when he
was. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
A lot of people have fond memories of the YWCA.
They sure do. A lot of grandparents got to meet there. They used to have a lot of dances. And in the 60s, they had 28 teen clubs. Can you believe that?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
28 different topic of teen clubs.
Teen girls all doing what teen girls are supposed to do back then. And that's one of the functions of YWCA back then.
Wow.
I have lots of stories of, my grandparents met here. Oh, we had a party here and all this. And oh my goodness.
That must be great to hear those stories. But, when you go to your building, you really feel so good when you just walk into that living room part in the front. It's just, the vibe is that happy, warm vibe is oozing through the walls. It's just amazing.
Well, I'm glad you felt that.
It's amazing. So let me ask you about the shelter you're trying to build. We talked about kind of your little money projects. They're little, but this is a big thing that you're aiming to do on your property there. Can you tell us a little bit about that in case someone has a few million that they want to give you? You never know.
That. Yeah. Let me share that. On the property, it's four lots. On 3 of the lots is the historical Julia Morgan building. On one of the lots is actually a 2-story building that was built in 1957 or 58. And that's where women actually escaped domestic violence at that time, when it wasn't even a law in California. And then our domestic violence shelter, Rainbow Services, that's where they started. And then in the 80s or 90s, when they got their funding, they moved to where they are now. So we have advocated support of women, even housed them since not just 1918, but in the 50s. And so we believe that it's time now to take down that building, which really has served very well now, and it's time for it to be replaced with a new structure. 2 floors programming, 2 floors housing, 15 to 20 units at some point. And while preserving the Morgan House, this would be a modern upscale facility that could handle. We'll put a legal aid office in there because I always feel that that's a missing key of helping people in the area, affordable legal help.
Yeah.
For any small thing that won't grow into a big thing.
Yeah.
And also mental health referrals that we do already. We do human trafficking awareness and prevention. We need more programming room to do more workforce development because we just cannot cram everyone into that one room we have now. We also do voter education, which is very critical to us. We, in 2020, to celebrate 100 years of women's right to vote in the US, we're a vote center. Even though we were slightly on the small side, we begged them, can you please, it's important to us.
Well, because you have a community already built in, right? So
yes,
different from other voting centers that are just a pin on a map, you actually have the clientele that needs to vote, and it's nice if it's where they are already going, right?
Well, no, they weren't going. That's the point. With all the
but they're already going to you, so if you become a voting center, it simplifies their life that's already tricky, right?
Right, exactly. And even when we're not
too.
Exactly. And with voter suppression, people are finding it very difficult to find a voter place, or it would take them several miles to walk there or take the bus. So they wouldn't.
And especially back in 2020, it was a bit chaotic, right?
Very chaotic, yes. So we hold open houses for voter information. And so we try and make sure that we at least have access to people that need voting information. And if we don't have the answer, we can refer them to the county or League of Women Voters or whoever else they need to go. But and also too, what made us also aware of that is that over the George Floyd era, remember that time, there were a lot of people in lockdown coming to us. They said, I need to do something. I went and I protested and now I don't know what to do. And I said, well, you're going to vote, right? They said, why? What's that? So, and this was,
there's a lot of lack of awareness. So that's really great because like I said, you have a built-in audience that needs education on all levels, right? I mean, everyone does, but you already have their attention.
Right. And we try and use our auditorium for good. I mean, San Pedro Rotary, they had law enforcement and high school teenagers have workshops. They couldn't find a place to go or they had to pay somewhere else. So I told them, please come to our auditorium, even though they drove to the YMCA. They come to our auditorium and they would spend 3 hours talking to each other to try and open the dialogue between young people and law enforcement. It's a shame that we have to do that, but it's an important.
But that's important, and that's an age-old problem, right? I mean, you just have to watch movies in the 70s and 60s, and you can see that things are not,
but those kinds of engagement, it's critical for our younger generation not to be afraid of law enforcement that are supposed to serve us, and they think differently. So we also
that's amazing. So I think on your shelter / services building, what are you calling that building?
It's Julia Morgan Building.
Okay, so the Julia Morgan Building. You've been working on this for a while. I've seen some architectural drawings, and you've been, trying to bring awareness to start getting a capital raise, right? So so how are you doing on that? How much have you raised? How much do you think you need? What's your ideal scene on when it could be completed?
Yes, thanks for asking that because we got $3 million in appropriations from Congress, which we're very proud of. We thought we were going to get two more last year, but it didn't make the final round, which is a disappointment, but that doesn't mean to say that it won't happen again. Our project is supposed to be around 15 million, which includes the Julian Morgan upgrade because we do not have air conditioning or heating.
So the old building, the
The old
historic building
building,
also will get some of that.
yes,
Yeah.
the old building renovation, what they're saying will take 4 to 5 million because
Oh
of the
man.
structural upgrading, the
Yeah.
plumbing, the
Well, and you
electricity.
have to be very careful with historic buildings, right? I mean, they're not weak. They're actually, I have a couple. They're usually, the bones are usually stronger than anything built post World War II, but you do have to be delicate in the wiring and it is complicated.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And we are a historical mark for Los Angeles, not federally, but enough. And it's a Julie Morgan who she has really good bones. Honestly, the way she stood up to whatever punishment all
Yeah.
these years, and she's
Well, there's been
still,
several earthquakes since 1918, right? So,
yeah. And no, so the preservation of her, and we're actually talking to architects now that are specialized in Julia Morgan buildings. And
oh,
so
that's
we've,
interesting.
yeah, I was surprised that there are a couple out there that actually do that.
That's
And
wonderful.
yes, indeed. And YWCA, actually, if you did know, they had a place called Asilomar, which is in the northern part of California near Carmel or somewhere.
Uh-huh.
That was like a retreat place and was taken over by the state of California in the 80s. But when you look at the pictures of that, it was built in 1918, just like ours. So ours is like a smaller, less fancy way, but the finish was done to ours. But if the finish was the same, it would look like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found that
That's
extremely
neat.
interesting. Yeah. So with when we do the renovation, which is going to happen, and then the side building, um, we want that to come up to be like housing. And right now it's for women and children that come out of a domestic violence and a permanent supportive
Hmm.
classification of housing. But we are also seeing senior women as the largest growing sector of homeless that we could maybe provide housing to. Now,
Mm,
that's not a segment of a slot you can actually punch a box or tick a box for.
mm,
It's an other classification, but we are looking at that very seriously to see if that is something that we could accommodate in the future because we're
mm.
seeing, and even in our food line, we're seeing 60% of the people we help are seniors.
Wow, 60%.
60%.
And seniors being like over
Over
65,
65.
55,
65.
65.
Yeah. Yeah. So seniors and
That's
families.
incredible.
Yeah. So keeping that in mind, going forward, we're not these buildings won't come up for 2, 3, 4, and we will go when the money comes to us. We are not, the board will not sacrifice Julia Morgan building or
Hmm.
the Morgan house to get that second one built. We're okay
So meaning
going.
you don't want to leverage the asset to build the other asset.
At this point, we think we can do it without it, with grant funding,
Hmm.
hopefully. But that's not to say that would change. But our goal would be to ideally not jeopardize the Morgan House to do that. But
Hmm.
again, we're at that stage where we're not quite sure. We're flexible. We're looking at different options. But it's
Hmm.
exciting to see what potentially what we could do with all this new technology coming at us.
Hmm.
Um, so it's exciting that it will get done, even if it is a little slower than what we think.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So if
it's
anybody
complete.
out there is in line with raising funds or knows someone who wants to support this either in a small way or big way, we're going to put your information on the screen at the end of this interview. But if someone wanted, besides the money, if someone just wanted to volunteer their hearts in it to either teach or feed people, or what are the opportunities and how do they go about getting in touch with you for that?
Oh, well, they can reach me directly at my email or at our phone number at extension 2. We have a volunteer package. I mean, our food distributions rely on volunteers at each location, and they're so loyal. We're so grateful for that help. But they see themselves, you know, that their help is directly going to others to help. Also, with workforce development, we have a lot of help we need for that.
Like teachers, like
teachers, tutors, and we do the class also in Spanish. We do. We're finding that Spanish has to be a little bit different because Spanish is their first language. They sometimes need to learn English at the same time. So we're learning English and computers simultaneously.
All at once.
Yeah, all at once. Yeah. And then that with the phone in Spanish and English and all that at once too. So,
so if someone's bilingual, that would be super helpful.
That would be super helpful. And also, you know, it takes a lot to run a historical building. And I didn't talk about our thrift store as much, but we take donations. And
what kinds of things? I had a lady the other day ask me what she could donate to, guys. And I was like, well, I think suits and household goods, maybe. So maybe give us a small rundown of what, because sometimes people's heart's in the right place, but they donate things that are not appropriate for your target audience, right? So what would be good for you guys?
Yeah, what's always good is men's clothes. We cannot keep enough of men's clothes. And we have a whole women's section, of course, in all different kinds of, you know, business wear, casual wear. Casual wear goes the most, to be honest. We do have handbags, bags, toys, linens, electronics, if they're working, shoes, household items. And then we also do move outs, which means that we started this over COVID as well, that if a family or estate agent or estate attorney needs to clear a property for sale, get it ready for sale, we can go in after the family's taken everything they need. We clear it out to empty. So we take everything that we can use in the thrift store, we give the family the charity slip, and we take whatever's left or not reusable to the trash. And then we send an invoice to escrow. So there's no upfront money for the family at all. And it's less than if a moving company did it or whatever. Yeah.
And you charge like per room, or how do you figure your donation level for that?
On two things: on how much time we think it would take. You might have 4 rooms, but they might be stacked to the brim. And also if there's a crawl space or an attic, we learned that the hard way.
So you can, so you can figure all that out based on space and time.
Yeah, space and time. And also distance. We did one in Palmdale just recently, and not that we want to go that far, but also
Palmdale, oh my God.
Yeah, but we also do them in the areas that nobody really wants to. So we've had real estate agents that have come to we've cleared in the areas of San Pedro where no one really wants to deal with. I don't mean to say it like that, but we basically go anywhere, you know.
Right.
So yeah, Long Beach, Wilmington, we've done all of those areas, and happy to do it. And our crew is really experienced now at they've
got their system down now, right?
Yep.
They won't forget the attic or the crawl space again.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. This is also amazing, and I'm glad you were able to share with us kind of a large overview of what you do. And I mean, we could delve into each one of those things and what the mechanics are and who they serve. But I think it's been, I mean, I know a lot about you guys, but I learned a lot today. So So it's very helpful. And we have 20 people who are going to be donating that day. And like many of my parties, my clients and my fellow women in investing and investors, they're generous beyond just the price of admission, right? So the other day we raised, I think, $3,000 for another organization just because people wanted to give more. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I always tell people, money is energy. And if we clench onto it, we're not helping other people. As long as the money's circulating, we'll all do well. So that's what we need to do, is keep that money energetic, circulating and supporting groups like YWCA.
Brilliant. Well, I'd absolutely love to take anyone on a tour and show them our building, and be very proud that Empowering Women has survived in San Pedro through this historical YWCA, and very proud of that.
Yeah, you must be.
And thank you, Athena, thank you so much for highlighting this. This is really amazing to us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to do it, and I'm proud to let everybody know. This is like, the podcast is like getting on a rooftop and saying, "Hey, everyone," a little bit better than that, though.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a full high tea in October 4th.
Oh, yay! Okay, so if you send me the date, I'll put that on this video as well, and on the podcast. They'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sonia. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks everybody. See you in August. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.